We're going to see Bill Mont, originally named Bill Alam. He's 95 years young, proud Lebanese, and entrepreneurial from the beginning. So I'd like to get his story told, and he's quite the storyteller.
My name is Bill Mont, M-O-N-T. That's an adopted name. Apparently, I guess it used to be Alan way back, Alam or Alam, meaning the flag, apparently. So I'm don't have a lot on what my background is, but a certain amount. Well, apparently they found out that my background was that our family background was the first Lebanese family that came to Nova Scotia.
That's your grandpa or your dad?
No, it wouldn't be my dad. It'd be way back there, 1800s, I think, something like that.
So tell me your story. Tell me about your life. What did you work? What did you do?
Where do you want to start? About my life? Well, I mean, I was born pretty well around the Depression area, and the Depression and recession. So we had adopted parents, and it was a hard time of year, hard time to try to survive. That back in those days, it was a really rough time. Well, I was born in 1929 in Halifax here, and my father, he was a boxer. He used to travel around the circuit down the States and so on. And I had a mother there. It was just pretty well her and I. Then we get grandparents that helped bring us up, both of us. But things were pretty tough. Going to school, I had a real problem there. My stepmother didn't want me around, or my mother. So things were kind of hard. She would send me to school with no pencils, telling me to get them from the teacher. So I go to school and I ask for pencils. They say, we don't give you pencils. And so the next day I didn't go to school. And the day after that I was in front of the judge, and he asked me, did I not go to school? I said, yeah, that's true, but he didn't ask me why. So they sentenced me for 5 years in the reform school at 9 years old. So I was lucky to get out of there in 2.5 years. So I went to work, first job, 12 years old, with the Halifax shipyards. That was quite a job, very claustrophobic, down in the bilges, what they call the bilges, crawling, all little sections. And you'd go down one end of the ship and you'd be crawling all the way, cleaning up the oil and so on. Working in the boiler tubes there, same thing. Always warned if somebody's gonna close the door or hatch, and I'm very claustrophobic. So I survived that summer. And so then I went back to school for a year, grade 6. And then the next summer came around, my stepmother got me working on the railway, cleaning garbage in the tracks. So now it's time to go back to school, but she wouldn't let me go back to school. I'm 13 years old, and as far as she's concerned, I'm a man now, so I gotta pay my way. So I worked on the railway, pretty well all the jobs. And actually, it was so funny, all around the waterfront there, Pier 21, Pier 20, all these cleaning garbage off the tracks. Then the next thing I got moved up to the railway station, cleaning the railway inside in the wintertime, so that was not too bad. And actually I lived on the waterfront. I lived in a place called Greenbank. It was like a sort of White Africville where They gave us 1 month to get our houses out of there and get out of there. And they wanted to clean it out and get the rock fill underneath the houses for the new container pier. So anyway, continued on in the railway station, carrying baggage, red cap, and then work in the superintendent's office. And in the meantime, I scrounged up enough lumber and second-hand material to build a house out in Spryfield. So that was okay. Then I decided I had enough working on the railway that I wanted to go to California. And so I sold the house, took up my permanent visa, all set to go, and I met a lady there from Eastern Passage, got married, went with me. But I just came back and forth. I had to keep bringing her back every summer. She didn't want to stay out there, so I made a mistake, apparently, I guess, but I had to start all over again each time I went back. First time I went back, I bought an employment agency with an old lady for $500. I mean, I got grade 6, and here I am with an employment agency interviewing people from all over the world coming into California looking for a job. The most interesting one that I had was this fellow. He come in from the Orient there. He said it's going on how he lost all his factories and everything. Dr. Wu Chu, something it was. So, I mean, when you start talking doctor to me at grade 6, I just think about medical doctors. I'm not thinking about somebody with PhDs. But I survived it and built it up into 11 counselors. But then I had to give it all up and come running back home again with the wife. So I'd have done my thing with that one, and then back again next winter. Then I got into a yacht factory, building yachts. Erickson Yachts, actually, in California. And you don't make many mistakes building yachts with teak and mahogany lumber, or you don't stay there too. That was all brand new. Everything I seemed to got involved in was brand new and never done before. Didn't know what it was all about, didn't have the experience. So I had to pack it up, come back home again with the wife. So then, came back to California. I got in the mobile home factory. So I was doing carpenter work there, back home again. So the next thing I got into was selling cookbooks. And I was given like 100 cookbooks away to these societies. And they asked me, how could you, and I was getting $60 for every one of these deals. So I explained, I said, well, a lady comes around and sells advertising in the book, and so that's how we get it free. The next time it'll be already made and you pay. So I just finally gave up, packed everything up, came back to Canada, Nova Scotia, Halifax. And I got into several things. One was the flea market business. Nobody was doing that here. So I gradually built it up, done that for about 30 years. We had like 10,000 people on a good day coming to our market. So we had about 9 markets on the go, spread all over the place. So then I got into construction, demolition. Had quite a thing going, tearing down a whole wartime village and rebuilding some of the houses and so on. Then I got in the auction business. I bought the oldest auction company in Canada, still have it. And that was quite a thing, the auction business. And in the meantime, several other types of business I got into. Animal shelter business. I was with the auxiliary of this company, and they were having trouble, so I ended up doing that for about 5 years. That was a real hard job, that one, trying to look after all 300 or 400 animals. No kill shelter besides. And then I got into the cemetery business. The cemetery was in bad shape, and I took it over, and that was back in 1986. So I've still got that. I'm still looking for a partner at my old age now, 96. I started to get a little draggier, but I've been very busy in a lot of things. I've got quite a following on the talk show. I get rid of a lot of my stress that way, talking about something new. And I have a Facebook marketing thing. I had 500 people wish me well a couple of days ago for my birthday. So I've been a pretty busy boy. A lot of different things I've been involved in. About 50 societies and different kinds of clubs and so on. And so you have a couple more questions for me?
Yes, of course. How did you discover that you have Lebanese roots?
Had a what?
Lebanese roots.
Well, somewhere along the line, I had a cousin, I think, and he told me, Peter Allen. And we used to get together once in a while. It just seemed to come out of nowhere, and next thing I know, I didn't do much about it. I just kind of went along with the whole thing. But yeah, I don't know. It just happened.
If you think of, if you remember your life, if you rethink of your life, would you have changed something out of it?
Well, one thing I would have liked to have done is when I was younger, too old now, I think, but I would have liked to have gone to Lebanon. I mean, I'd never done much traveling over in Europe. Only 2 travels over there. One was Santorini in Greece. There, a beautiful trip there when I was back in the 70s. I bought a castle over in Ireland, so I went over there to have a look at that. Actually, I seen the picture of it going to Santorini, and I liked what I saw, and the price was right, and so I bought that for $300,000. I finally sold it the next year for. It was apparently the reason why it went so reasonable because apparently it was haunted, and they had a dog, the guard dog would look after it that night, but they wouldn't. The watchman and security guy, he wouldn't go near the place at night. So I sold it a year later for $400,000. I've done a lot of real estate, tax sales, an awful lot, buying properties up. Some interesting ones. I had a big property in St. John, New Brunswick. There, I think I bought about 5 boats. I actually had one shipwreck in the harbor here in Halifax that I'd like to do something about. There's quite a ruling that you can't touch shipwrecks in Nova Scotia. I think that's kind of a shame. They should be checking them out one at a time. But anyway, my one, I own it, and it'd be interesting if I want to salvage it for whatever's there, whether I'd be allowed to or not. So, different. I had the old Darkman Ferry. I bought that and made it into a restaurant. A lot of things there that I've done. Bought an island in the harbor, which I still have, Devil's Island. I guess that Sam now has his son kind of brought the Lebanese out of me here. Well, actually, I was in partnership a bit there with Sam there a while back, and Sam now has.
So 96 years, the world has changed So from the day you were born all the way now to 2025, how did you cope with that fast pace of the last 20 years? How did you see life change, people evolve, things change, Canada change?
That's for sure. Well, I just kind of rolled with the punches and tried to adapt. So far, not too bad, but I find that each year as we go along, it seems more complicated, more hard to adapt, much more. There's just so many rules and regulations and everything today compared to the old days. Wasn't so many restrictions on what you could do. I mean, for instance, city tax sales, Halifax tax sales. I used to go a lot to tax sales, and I know a lot of friends of mine did too. And now it's so complicated. You don't. It's all done on a computer. And the old days, you would go in the hall, you'd have a sale, you know who's bidding against you, and the whole thing. So everything is changing dramatically.
What would you say for the new generation, for the new kids, for the people? What did life teach you that you would like to teach the younger generation that is now finding themselves in this world?
Well, it's hard. That's a hard one to know what to do. I don't think the younger generation would pay much attention. They want to enjoy life such as it is, but there's going to be a rude awakening for the younger crowd because they haven't faced a situation like us old timers in the old days. I mean, it's a different life, and I think, quite frankly, that we're heading for lots of problems, a lot of problems, and I don't think it's one thing to get out at night and enjoy yourself in the lounge and so on, but I think you're going to be a big rude awakening, and they're not going to be prepared for it. I mean, that sounds kind of crazy, but I see it that way. It's a different world today, way different and much more complicated, and it's all right to go down to the tavern and live it up every night or so, but there'll be a rude awakening, I think, for this younger generation.
You're still as sharp as a 20th, and I'm sure you're going to live for a long time. But what would you like to achieve before you pass?
Well, I'd like to kind of get myself loose from my cemetery, which has kept me kind of tied down. It's very complicated. So I'm hoping to get a partner or something to get involved with me so that I can open up my auction company again, put it back on the market, because we used to sell a lot of real estate, and plus I've got 12 tractor trailer loads of collectibles and so on of all kinds of shapes and sizes. I mean, when you come up poor, you don't throw things away. So you got a pretty good idea of what's good and bad. So you try to, well, I just collected a lot of stuff. And so that would be the start to get me back in the auction business. And then I have the island in the harbor. I've got to figure what to do with that. It's 30-acre island, Devil's Island. I got some plans to open that up. So I've got lots of plans and all kinds, but I need some good partners is what I need.
So you're definitely not in the retirement business. You just want to work until the last day of your life, and you're still thinking business all day long.
Well, I don't have much choice. I've got the businesses there and so on, and I have to just keep plugging away. I'm kind of bogged down right now, especially with my cemetery. It's not giving me the freedom that I have to be careful and look after it and so on. And
tell me about Halifax. Are you happy of calling Halifax home? Do you like it? Do you enjoy it? If you want to describe it to someone that has never been there yet, how would you describe Halifax?
Well, it's a good size. I don't know for how long, but it's a good it was a nice little city, but it's starting to get into mini Toronto here, and I don't know, I'm in the heritage quite a bit and saving, preserving. It's kind of a shame the way it's getting built up. I don't know where we're going on this trip here, but certainly Halifax to history and so on. That's a big thing with me. I'm very involved there. Different societies and heritage groups, very much so. Almost all of them I've been involved in. So it's home, where I was born, quite happy. And my Lebanese roots is very interesting. I'm learning more and more. I'm learning a lot, really, on that. So that area there is a big one with me.
So when you connected the first time with the Lebanese chamber, did you feel that you're connecting with people that you belong to, that look like you?
Well,
Did you feel anything special or different connecting with Lebanese?
Well, it sort of just gradually came bit by bit at me, and Sam and Norman really brought me out of it. They're right into the new Lebanese thing here, and I'm very grateful that it's interesting, a different phase of my life, late in life as it is. But I'm thoroughly enjoying it. It's a real treat and a pleasure to find out more about my history as we go along. So I really thank Norman and Sam. Like I said at the big thing last year, the big get together, Sam can be traveling off the coast of Africa, and he takes time to call me up, see how I'm doing and what's going on. So I owe a lot to the Nas family.
So how did you feel when you got the Lifetime Achievement Award? How was it?
Well, I look at it. I got it on tape there on my computer there, Facebook. I'm thinking to myself, I can't believe I survived getting up there talking and going. Of course, I'm an old auctioneer, so it kind of comes natural, but it was quite a thing there. The whole thing seemed to go so good, so well. It surprised me every time I look at it. And once a month or so, I'm looking at the whole show there again, and really surprised me that I survived that one. I mean, they apparently were happy with me because I was good clapping with the whole thing there.
We're having an interview today at what I believe is an hotel, but was something different for you. What happened in this room?
Well, you know, it's interesting. I was baptized apparently in this. The church was here, Trinity Church, and I was baptized here in this room, or not this room, but on this site here. And this is the first time I really had a good look inside. Well, not a good look, but just getting inside the building. So it's quite a thing, quite kind of different. The big thing again, forever thankful to Norman and Sam to bring me up to this point in life with the Lebanese background and so on. So it's a whole new door opening for me. And everything's, it's just so different. I'm still trying to digest it.
Let's jump on a plane and go to Lebanon. What do you think?
The what?
Let's jump on a plane and go to Lebanon.
I don't know if I'm up to it health-wise or not, but it would be quite a thing. I must get some videos or something of Lebanon to see just what's going on over there, how big it is, skyscrapers. I haven't really had a good look, and I must do that.
Tell me, how did he discover that he's Lebanese? How did you push on it? How did you know about it? How did your roads connect?
Well, We crossed paths many times over the years. He was a friend of my father's and an old business partner. And my father always told me, you know, Bill is Lebanese roots. He doesn't know them that well, but his ancestry is Lebanese and tied to some of the original Lebanese that came to the province. So I have a barn, it's right beside where his cemetery office is. We crossed paths quite a bit. And it was last year at the 15th annual Cedar and Maple Gala, I asked him if he'd be okay if we honored him with a Lifetime Achievement Award because of his history and his hustle that he's had for so many years. And he said yes, and he hit it out of the park.
I believe his all the things he has achieved has something to do with the Phoenician roots he has, and definitely the Lebanese way of thinking without him even knowing.
I agree, 100%. Entrepreneurial from the beginning, even till today. He's still trying to make deals. He's still trying to shake up the
It's
industry.
incredible. At 96, he just wants to do more business and work for the next 10 years.
It's in his blood.
Wow.